Thank you very much, Chair. My topic for today is the lesson from the youth of 1976 and the youth of 2021. Youth Day commemorates the Soweto uprising, which took place on June 16, 1976, where thousands of students were abused by the apartheid regime. On Youth Day, South Africans paid tribute to the lives of these students and recognize the role of the youth in the liberation of South Africa from the apartheid regime. Today, June 16, 2020 to 2021, we were confronted with many challenges that we need to confront. Priority on the list is the dismantling of the dominance of the minority of the economic structure, the invisible pandemic, and the demon of gender violence against women. The youth of 1976 stood for something they came together and made history about. Without internet access, without the privilege that we're having right now. Now we have social media whereby we share ideas as comrades. There are a lot of things that we can learn from the youth of 1976. The youth of 1976, they were united as South Africans to defeat the apartheid regime. The courageous youth of 1976 teaches us that when we work together towards a common goal, we can be more successful at making our voice being heard by the world. We share the same vision, the same willingness to work together. Despite their obvious fear and courageous to refuse to be treated bad. As the youth of 1976, they find it easier to meet their goals as gender equality, access to education, and basic health care. The youth of 1976, they fought for the right to access education, as is the part of Children's Bill of Rights. The youth of 1976 believed that the apartheid law did not afford them quality education, and they made sure that their voice were heard. Their legacy still live on, because now everyone can get education for free. That's why the youth of 2015, I salute them. The youth who take it to the street and demand free education in our lifetime. They learned that from the youth of 1976. Power to that, we support it. We also learned that Bogodo can lead, women can lead. Women plays a very, very important role in each and every movement that we have. Women, they must not be scared to lead. They must take it to their hand, because they are the pillar of the country. Without them, we are nothing, we are useless. It shows that if they can give women an opportunity to shine, obvious they can do it without fear or favor of anything. We have learned from the youth of 1976 that your voice really matters. Be active enough, fight, speak up, don't be scared, don't be a puppet of a leadership. Speak if you have in our society, they make it hard for us to speak up against the injustice that we experience. If we are not criticized for being active enough, we are being criticized for speaking too much. We must not let this discourage us, because the learner of 1976 experienced great challenges more than what we have now as well. But they knew that their voice will be heard. The youth of today, they must face the consequences of the older generation action. The youth of today faces so many problems that range from abuse, gangsterism, rape, and murder. We might not be facing an apartheid government, but we are facing obstacles and problems that revive what the youth of 1976 went through. 1976 and all those years, the youth of South Africa had to deal with oppression, discrimination, and overwhelming violence, poverty, and abuse. The youth fought back against the apartheid regime and helped usher a new united Africa as whole. It's 2021 and the world has changed a lot. So much since the day of apartheid. The youth of today face a very different problems and challenges. The youth of today might not be oppressed because of the color of their skin, but we still face our own set of problems. We might not be fighting a racist government, but we are fighting against organizations that want to destroy our country. We don't have to drop out of school at an early age of 15 just because we want to work to feed our families. Now you can go to school and study and finish, you get a job, you work. During apartheid, when you were walking around, the youth have to worry about police. But nowadays, girls get kidnapped or raped, they lie, women are getting abused each and every day. Where are the police? Drugs and poverty, now it rules the street of South Africa. It's so easy to get the youth caught up in the trap. What I have to say is that Malcolm X once said that, youth, ain't you tired of standing at the touchline to witness a game that shall be playing by yourself? Now it's time that we substitute those people and then we do things by ourselves. Our time is now. Wake up, black child. It is not yet Uhuru. We can still do it. Nobody can give you freedom. Nobody can give you equality or freedom or justice. If you are a man, you take it the way you are. All I want to say is that rest in peace, Franz Fanon. Rest in peace, Ernest Che Guevara. Rest in peace, Stephen Biko. Rest in peace, Hector Pito Peterson. Rest in peace, Tieti Machinini. Rest in peace, Chris Hani. Rest in peace, Robert Sobukwe. Rest in peace, Thomas Sankara. Rest in peace, Nelson Mandela. Rest in peace, Guido Maduro. Rest in peace, Koso Sigal. Rest in peace, Asif Job. We shall continue and take off where you left off. Hasta la vista, siempre. A victory to all. Thank you.
Hasta la Siempre. Hasta la victoria, siempre. So to set us say Cuba today against this victory all the time. That's what the Cubans said to us. Well done. Thank you, Sankara Nyambi. And then Thomas Sankara will say, everywhere we go, victory is certain. Thank you, Sankara Nyambi. It's getting hot. They are saying substitute. Comrade David to substitute. The youth is saying substitute. Out. Yeah. All right. Okay. As told him about the money. Let's welcome the Paul the Toilet.
Bones of many around you. These are the words of a smart and charismatic wise man by the name of Thomas Mann. May his beautiful soul continue to rest in power. Allow me to send my most sincere and humble greetings to the house in capacity. My name is Lizolo Dimpo from Memezile Secondary School, and I will be delivering a speech about teenage pregnancy and also listing solutions about teenage pregnancy. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Mental Health Line website, reported that teen mothers face significant levels of stress that can lead to increased mental concerns. In addition to higher rates of postpartum depression, teenage mothers have higher rates of depression. Ladies and gentlemen, teens are at higher risk for pregnancy-related high blood pressure, preeclampsia, and its complications than average-age mothers. Risk for the baby include birth premature and low birth weight. And that's quite shocking, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a clear indication that teens haven't developed well enough in themselves to have responsibility in raising another life. Let's not forget about how teenage pregnancy has a negative effect on the school attendance, academic performance, emotional behavior, and also negative relationship among pregnant teenagers and their peers and also educators. Their situation leads to exclusion from peer groups, peer performance, low self-esteem, and even to dropping out of school. Specifically, nurses should visit school 3 times per term to educate and counsel youth about sexuality, reproduction, sexual transmitted diseases, and contraception. They should work with children before they become sexually active. They should also implement and evaluate community-based adolescent pregnancy prevention programs. Parents should also take a huge part in talking with their children early and often about sexuality and love. And they should be specific on that. Talking to teenagers about sexual activities will not encourage them to become sexual active. Parents should take a strong stand against teen dating people who are significantly older or younger than they are. They should influence their kids to join community programs. Sexual education can prevent teenage pregnancy, but most importantly, they should teach them to abstain from sex. We all know that if you taste or start to smoke with your friends, you're gonna want to smoke the next day. It is said that it's hard to raise a child when you're still a child. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to excuse myself as I make a way for the next speaker. I thank you.
Correct. Amanda. Amanda. Oh, yes. We're celebrating. Amanda. Amanda. Maibuye. Maibuye. Correct. A wise man once said, if you lack confidence, you are beaten twice in the race of life. With those kind words, I would like to send my local greetings to our timekeeper, our judges, in the House of Large. The person standing in front of you is Impumelelo, and I'm here to render a speech about a lesson from the youth of 1976 to the youth of 2021. There are only three things that the youth of 2021 can learn from the youth of 1976. And the first thing is, for better education as South Africans, we can do anything. The youth of 1976 sacrificed a lot for the future of their sisters and brothers in South Africa, to get education in the language that they desire, and also get education in a fertilized environment where black and white people are treated equally. The youth of 1976 also fought for their sisters and brothers in South Africa to get a big and fat tenacity in the language in their learning areas. And the second thing, the mind of a black child is strong. The mind of a black child is strong, it's just that it's underrated. The youth of 1976 managed to start a big war in South Africa without guns or spray guns, but with only two things, words and rocks. And they managed to win that war against soldiers of South Africa. Yes, a lot of lives have been lost, but that didn't stop the youth of 1976 to fight for the future of their sisters and brothers in South Africa. And the third thing, black people united, they can never be defeated. The youth of 1976 across the country managed to fight the apartheid government from isolating their minds. The youth, they were getting support from our neighboring countries because they could see that the apartheid government was trying to lock the mind of a black child, and they were trying to enclose